Welcome to the Solution Podcast. We are back.
What's good?
And
Salute to
we
the
are
Patriots, man.
Patriots, salute.
Solutionpatriots.com. Check that out. We are reacting to Pearl versus OnlyFans model. But before we get into that, I just draw your attention to the description below. We have links for all our social media, and Rumble channel, Clips channel, the website. It's all there. So
We're everywhere, innit?
we're everywhere.
Yeah.
You can check that out for more information. Okay, we're gonna get into this because it's quite a spicy little video here from Pearl.
Yeah.
And we want to react. So
Yeah. Let's do it.
let's go.
Let's go.
Brain and the dopamine receptors until I started hearing more and more stories about it and diving into the
Yeah.
science.
It'll be viewed like smoking, like down the line.
Do you guys
sure.
think?
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
think sex work is a net good or a net negative for society?
I think
that's an easy
I think it
question,
is a net negative for the pure fact that I think a lot of people think that it's so easy, and I think that
I think it's a net good.
It's a net negative
think
on
it's
society.
I think on society
guys,
because the opportunity to cheat, the opportunity to think that you're going to get easy
Jesus is
money,
king,
the
is that his
opportunity of
t-shirt?
people
Yeah.
who think that they have a stronger mind than they actually do, and then when they try it out, they're like, oh, I can't handle this, and then stop it. Like, you know, it's not a job for the faint-hearted.
So
like,
overall, net negative. What about you?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with Bella, to be honest. Yeah.
Net negative.
It's a negative sometimes if you look at it from like our side, but see if you're looking at it from like a consumer's point, I would say it's a positive because
It's a positive for the men, but negative for the women.
yeah,
Pause,
because
pause,
like
pause, because she's making a different point.
Yeah.
That's not the first one wasn't answering the question.
Glad you.
Yeah,
you spotted that.
Yeah. It's a net negative for society.
Yeah.
She's talking about it's a net negative in the sense of
Individualism.
in the sense of once you if
the
you
performer.
give
Yeah.
if you give up, you know what I'm saying, like like if you join and then you give up, you know what I'm saying, like that it could be a net negative for that person. She's not actually talking about whether porn is a net negative overall for society. She's talking about for the person that joins it. It's a net negative for that person. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they can give up. They don't.
She probably has difficulty thinking outside of herself.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
things
yeah.
affect not only just her, but actually there's a world out there with men and women in there.
Yeah, and children.
And children.
Yeah.
It's a very individualistic mindset. Do you see what I'm saying? Like she can't even like think of the question outside of herself, like you said. Do you see what I'm saying?
As
Like,
soon as she heard it, she internalized it to her. Like, it's like-
but that's also a statement to how normalized it is now. Do you see what I'm saying? They don't even think of it as being a bad thing for society. Like morally speaking, to them, it's not even a bad thing no more.
Yes.
It's like I would say when it first started, people would have been thinking, yeah, I'm worried about society and so on. But now, because it has been normalized, she's thinking, yeah, it's a net negative when it comes to that person not performing or not carrying on or give. I mean, it's a net negative when it comes down to people giving up on it because they think it's too much, because they don't understand. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, to her, that's the net negative of it.
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
think it speaks on her character as well. Like just like her self-absorption and selfishness. Like she struggled, or unless she elaborates, like she immediately went to the individual and not the collective. And the question was a collective question to how it affects society as a whole, not you.
She can't think on that level.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it just
the
shows where she's at mentally.
And the second one as well. The second one didn't even correct her.
Yeah.
That's why
didn't do any of them. Like we'll see.
Let's see what the third one says.
a lot of my subscribers, for example,
How much do you make a month?
I don't
X-Man's listening.
like a good 5 figures.
Okay, so how is it a net negative for the women?
No, so it's obviously it's good for me, but like I think it's also positive.
Because most women don't make money on it. Okay.
I think it's telling people that they can make 5 figures, and everyone going, I can make 5 figures, but you don't see how much work goes in behind that 5 figures.
Yeah, but I don't think Pearl's talking about that negative. She's saying negative on society, not negative.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's a negative. It's a negative on society for the pure fact that most people most people can't earn that much.
No.
But then
Still can't.
but what they don't realise is that most people on OnlyFans don't earn that much.
Yeah, no, you're going back to
You
money.
know?
think
I'm saying it's a
yeah.
net negative on society.
Low
because
IQ.
It's corrupting the
Low
youth.
IQ.
It's promoting
Yeah,
Have
degeneration.
someone
but then I
intelligent
think
in
that's
the
just
room.
general porn. I
I
feel
just
like with OnlyFans, there are so many rules of things you can and can't do.
still
I feel like the
doesn't get
more the stuff that I
So-
can't talk about on
But
YouTube.
I just don't understand. How is it a good thing to like be?
Because everyone is a sexual person. Every single person has sexuality and urges inside
Yeah, but you
of
can
them.
you
It
can do that
literally makes the
inside.
world
You
go
can do
round.
that inside of.
I feel like I'm listening to a bunch of politicians talk because this is how politicians answer questions. Like you fire them a question and they just deflect all over the place. And I feel like this is the style of the conversation right here. I feel like if this was a business environment, the moment they deter of like, for example, when you add the concept of money to a conversation, everybody's attention starts like being official. Like the moment you start deflecting and start not giving the answer you're looking for, when the matter of money is involved, you realize how important how people get down with their attention.
And give like proper answers.
Yeah, yeah. Because if it was to do with money, where's my money? And you tell me I lost at the bus stop, somebody's gonna freaking drill in.
Yeah.
And then if you start talking about your car, if you start talking about your holiday, somebody's you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when you add the element of money to it, like people's attention is just on point. But this is why I have issues with politicians and priests and teachers, all people out of the business
But I think
world,
I think she's deflecting on. To me, it's a testament of the times. This is how morally degenerate we are, that we can't think outside of ourselves. We can't think of society as a whole. She can't even understand, even though she's been told. The guy told her what the question is. It's about
put her back on
society.
track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to put her back on track. And she still has this individualistic mindset.
Yeah.
She's still thinking about her. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, about the job. You know what I mean?
doesn't get it.
She doesn't get it. Morally, she just doesn't get it.
doesn't get it.
She doesn't see nothing wrong with it at all. She's completely acceptant of the ideology to such an extent that she doesn't see the harm in it. She
Yeah.
can't even understand the argument that's being made.
Yeah.
Well, it's even the points that she is trying to make. It's still all about her and her feelings and how everyone. She's just trying to put. It's almost just enabling. Trying to include other people is enabling her just to do whatever she wants to do.
Yeah. She's not really. She doesn't know how to think out the box.
Now, she doesn't know how to think morally. Like the morals are gone. You know what I'm saying? To her, this is moral. This is normal.
Yeah.
I
No
have sexual.
threshold.
I have sexual feelings, so therefore I should act on it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's people that have loads of feelings. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you need. Imagine acting on every single impulse, every single feeling you have. You see what I'm saying? Like do you know how crazy the world would be. Do you see what I'm saying?
Somebody like that, I'm scared to see how dark her road goes. Like you see how she's just like looking for her satisfaction. Yeah. So she's probably just gonna open to whatever because she's got no like moral threshold, no moral like a lack of a moral high standard. Like she probably is into some weird stuff.
She's only 25
That's a good point.
years old.
Imagine in 20 years.
Yeah, she's only 25 years old.
Yeah, this is the crazy. This is the world we live in.
Urges inside.
Yeah, but you
of them.
can
It
do that
literally makes the
inside.
world
You
go
can do
round.
that inside of marriage or a
Yeah, but who's
relationship.
going to get married at 13 when they're starting puberty and they need to have a wank for the first time?
I mean, you can just wait until like, you're a bit
Who's going to
older.
wait? Come on. Don't tell me that there is a 13-year-old boy out there that's going to wait till marriage to actually, you know. The thing is,
holy shit.
It's only if they've been exposed to that kind of information. If they don't know no better, they're not going to be thinking that. They're not going to be thinking sexually like that if they haven't been exposed to that kind of information.
Yeah, she's actually encouraging young 13-year-olds to get into sex.
But this is how sexualized, like take her out the equation for a second. This is how sexualized the West has become. That she thinks that a 13-year-old should be masturbating at that age. Like This is how
Should be out playing football.
Yeah, this is how sexual. Yeah. This is how sexualized society has become.
Yes.
This is how
failed, man.
Yeah. Like I'm not just talking about sexualized for the school, for the schools. I'm talking about from the phone, the posters, movies, everything, adverts, you name it. Everything is around them consistently, non-stop. This is how sexual that she expects a 13-year-old boy to start masturbating. She looks at it as normal. She not once has it occurred to her that, oh, that's illegal. Like, you know, like a 13-year-old shouldn't be engaging in that type of activity. I think she's talking from experience, personally. I don't mean to accuse her of anything. I don't know, but she's talking from experience
for sure. I reckon.
I'm just thinking now. Does she have 13-year-old boys ringing in?
That's what I was thinking.
Subscribing to her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Exactly.
She got clients.
Well, no, apparently.
Well, morally, that for her, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, so she wouldn't
turn them away.
Exactly, she wouldn't turn them away. But
that should be abuse, right?
Yeah, but apparently, that's abuse. That's literally abuse.
But then again, jailable offence.
Yeah, but then again, under the pretense of education, we have schools now teaching little kids as young as 6 years old about masturbation. So under the pretense of education and information to keep the children safe, we have this level of sex education already happening in schools, and it's being pushed to be normalized more and more and more. So. Like,
which also means she could probably get away with it.
Exactly.
Which means she can probably get away with it. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So I know from my experience in going to Africa for the first time, I definitely saw that the culture isn't highly sexed. So they don't walk around with sex on the brain all day long. Yeah, they're into it, but they're not into it like that,
to the level that
irresponsibly.
To the level that the West is into.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
And that was an eye opener.
But it makes sense. It makes sense if you expose people. To more of it, you're gonna get them to.
And if you're teaching them young, like 6, 7, they're going to develop a habit
for doing.
And then by the time they're 20, they think this is normal, but they don't realize that they were taught this.
By the time they're 15,
indoctrination, 14. Man.
It's got everything to do with advertisements on buses, bus stops, billboards, even the way that adults get walk around dressed.
The music,
the music,
TV, the music.
Films.
Kids are not going home and learning mathematics. They're going home. They're on their phones all the time.
They're on TikTok.
They're on TikTok. They're listening to, you know what I mean? And it's so highly sexualized. It's disgusting. No wonder why
it's like there's nothing else.
This is
just highly sexualized.
This is the new generation.
Yeah, but it's an agenda, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go.
When they're starting puberty and they need to have a wank for the first time.
I mean, you could just wait until you're a bit older.
Wait. Come on. Don't tell me that there is a 13-year-old boy out there that's going to wait till marriage to actually,
They used to. They did it for hundreds of years.
No, they didn't.
That's the stories they told you.
No, they didn't.
I would say it's more admirable to have willpower nowadays than to just go to everything online. Everything is so accessible. Pornhub's the most searched thing. You got OnlyFans girls everywhere. There's escorts everywhere.
But that's the thing. I think willpower is one of those things that it is important, but it is actually also it can be very negative to try and have retention, do things for retention
purposes.
What's the
negativity?
So the negative thing is that it can actually cause cancer and stuff like that.
Show me some studies on that.
I can show you those.
What is going on here?
This is the world we live in right now.
Is she a doctor? Has she become a doctor now?
Yeah.
Apparently, willpower, a man exercising willpower, or a child can cause them cancer.
No. Holding it actually, they become more magnetized, so they become stronger.
Yeah.
If they express it in a bad way, you could call it aggressive. If they express it in a good way, they can conquer the world. Right? They can do great things.
I mean, boxers or fighters before they train, they don't let anything out because they get more power.
Exactly. When's the last time you heard a boxer dying of the C word?
Yeah, exactly.
Or athletes.
It's just crazy. But to her, it's like you shouldn't have willpower. Like this is what she's advocating for.
Everything has to be given in.
You have to give in. You have to give in. Why? Because we are sexual beings. You know what I mean? So whatever it's almost like that undisciplined, relentless
advocating.
You know what I mean? Just
discipline.
Just give in to whatever you think and feel.
Indulgence.
Indulge in it.
Indulgency.
You know what I mean? With no, it's okay to enjoy sex, but enjoy sex in a proper union, in a proper place, and so on and so forth. That's not what she's advocating for. That's not what she's after. What she's saying. She's saying if you feel something, act on it.
No matter what the consequences are.
Do as thy will, like I always say. She's completely indoctrinated by it.
Does she not know like the excess of anything is bad?
Yeah, excess of anything,
is bad for you.
Too much, the excess of too much food, too much alcohol, too much sugar, too much sex, too much and whatnot. It's bad.
Yeah. So overindulgence in sex is gonna lead to destructive.
But she actually went as far in order to argue her case, to justify her case. She actually went as far as saying you can get cancer from.
Yeah. Name another one.
That's the lowest of low. It's almost like trying to look past that, see what her real point is. It's almost like you should just give in just so I can get more money. I mean, it's a greed thing as well.
Yeah. She's got to advocate for her line of work for her business. Clearly,
that's the thing.
She's living a certain lifestyle. She's enjoying a certain lifestyle. So there's that aspect as well.
She's got a bias.
Aspect of greed, because she's living a certain lifestyle. She has to almost give in. Into you know what I mean,
she has to like what's the word? Buy into the into that information.
She needs to buy into the agenda. Buy into the agenda. She has to buy into the agenda
and convince herself that this is a good thing.
But it goes back to greed.
Yeah, because it makes the advertisement more convincible as well.
Yeah.
It goes back to greed. It goes back to selfishness. It goes back it goes back to sexual immorality. You know what I mean? It goes back to all of those type of things. You see what I'm saying? And she's literally giving in to give in into those things. When she gives into those things, she has to buy into the culture. And once you buy into the culture, that's it. That's it. You have to advocate for it. And that's what she's literally on a platform now advocating for it.
Yeah, that's how she can wake up, look in the mirror, and feel okay about this behavior, this lifestyle she's living.
Bravo, the feminists must be congratulating her right now. Yeah, bro, let's go.
But it's interesting, even that point about the feminists looking at and saluting her, because a lot of women are feminists, but they think they're not feminists.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of women would actually be disgusted by this, but actually have internally solid feminist ideals.
Internal conflict.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know this, but just because you think you're not something doesn't mean you don't believe in it. Exactly. Like a lot of people don't understand that concept. You hear
intelligent concept.
You hear women all the time. I'm not a feminist, but every word out of their mouth,
all the boxes.
It comes out of the Feminist Manifesto. You know what I mean? Like the feminist terms and conditions. Every word out. Trust me, you don't have to believe in it. You don't have to come out and say, "Yeah, I'm a feminist" for you to be a feminist. It's the as long as you've allowed the values to indoctrinate you, as long as you've almost not only familiarized but actually became accustomed to the values, and you actually agree with the values. Trust me, that makes you a feminist. You don't have to come out and say you're a feminist. You don't have to say
that's why it's important to. It sounds anal, but it's very important to understand what words mean. And what words mean to people, and then like, for example, the dictionary's there. That's the general acceptance of agreeance of what a word stands for. So you look at the definition, and those words in the definition is like an algorithm. It's like the formula of what that word is. So if you're behaving in the description, you could be labeled that word. Like it is what it is.
That's why I'm so against I'm a Christian, or I was born in a Christian household.
Yeah.
But everything they believe in, but I believe in abortion. I believe in whatever.
That's why I can't argue with that.
I was like, bro, you're not a Christian.
Yeah,
Like, you can't be that because according
it's
to
clearly
the
defined.
It's
clearly defined.
There's a book that clearly defines what it is to be a Christian. If you're not living that life, if it don't match that, I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but if you, for example, like if you're saying I'm for abortion, then bro, you just went against the values of Christianity.
Yeah, until they want to change it. Anyway. I mean, but words change, no? Like the N word or the gay used to mean happy. Now it means homosexual. So even that changes. So that's crazy.
Yeah, definition of abuse changes.
Yeah. That's what they're doing. That's what's happening.
Like racism.
Yeah, racism. That's starting to change as well. Yeah. I mean, all right, let's go.
Wet dreams are a real thing. It releases,
so that's the thing.
Itself.
No, but that's what I mean. Is that obviously it can naturally happen, but it can cause problems with your prostate. It can cause problems with infertility, things like that. I do the same sort of content as you, right? We do similar stuff. But the thing is that obviously with willpower, retaining and abstaining is a very good thing if you want to get the mind power back up. But I mean, for actually on a level where you're trying to
totally
contradicted herself.
Where you're trying to like just stay away from people because you can. Like it's
so are you arguing that a 13-year-old guy, the best option is for him to look at porn at 13 years old?
No, but what I'm saying is that
okay, like is this the okay?
Well, it's supply and demand. If people didn't want that, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
I'm not asking that. I'm asking net good or net negative.
No, I think it's net good.
There's a person in here. Sterling's a former corn star. We can say that.
Okay.
He'll tell you firsthand.
It's a net negative. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why it's a net negative. It's a net negative because of the ramifications that habitual pornography use has on the male brain.
Yeah.
And his ability to maintain motivation and drive. Yeah. And when men in society have no or massively reduced motivation and drive, nothing gets built. Nothing gets created.
I don't think that your heightened testosterone
has anything I'm not talking about testosterone. I'm talking about dopamine. Very, very different.
Different things.
I'm talking about brain chemistry.
Yeah, but
when dudes don't...
Keeping your cum in your balls.
No, shut up. Let me finish. When I'm making a nuanced, intelligent point, don't just blah, 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 okay? Yeah. So when you habitually use porn, your dopamine receptors get fried. Dopamine is the molecule that you get, your brain gives you as a reward for pursuing something meaningful, pursuing goals.
Yeah.
And now we have an entire generation of young men whose dopamine receptors don't really work very well because they've been hooked on porn since they were a young teenager, and now they're not being very ambitious.
I have a question. So, knowing what we know in the red pill, that women are going for a smaller and smaller percentage of men.
Pause for a sec.
What?
I have to say, I'm studying a book, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, and he goes into habitual behavior and the concept of what's the word? Hypnotic rhythm, and there's another word for it, but it's a concept that talks about habitual behavior and how it leads to you not thinking about what you're doing. Yeah. Basically, you just acting on subconsciously or sleepwalking,
like automatically just like doing stuff.
Yeah, like the concept of being on autopilot.
Yeah.
So I'm reading that book because a lot of our problems we talk about, is the solution is in that, I feel. So yeah, like I'll start bringing in more information soon on that side.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, because what he's saying is spot on.
But that's what science says.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
about dopamine and what it does to the brain. Do you see what I'm saying? Well, and why you shouldn't indulge in corn. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because of what it would lead to. Do you see what I'm saying? Like
the dopamine.
Exactly. It's like that's why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, that should be enough. No,
that should be. That's it.
From time it's hit, they've reconciled it with the biology, but how it hits you biologically. That should be enough to you know. Well, I would imagine
to not engage in it.
Yeah, but that's the problem. When it feels so good, dopamine is feeling good. That's why when people get addicted to drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, it's not. They can't just like stop.
They get addicted to that feel-good moment, that dopamine. That's why it's so important to fast. That's why it's so important to. That's why it's so important to exercise discipline in your life, in all areas of your life, whether it's eating, whether it's drinking, because you also get that dopamine feel from eating. You get dopamine feel from everything. That's why abstaining is extremely important. Funny enough, every religion advocates for abstaining. Do you see what I'm saying? It almost like brings you back to balance again. Do you see what I'm saying? So that, to me, that's conversation over. The biology proves it. Religion itself proves it. I mean, advocates for that type of stuff that doesn't lead to that. Do you see what I'm saying? So this should be it. You know what I mean?
Like, also to add, like, it's like that side of you that gets addicted is like a beast. It's like a wild animal. Yeah. So it's like your lower self. So it's up to you to control it. You're the one that's accountable.
You're the master of it.
You're the master.
And she was against willpower.
Exactly. She's advocating
the very same thing.
The problem.
The very same thing that will get you out of it is the very same thing she's advocating for.
Yeah. Damn.
And also, she wouldn't let him get into his point properly.
She's trying to distract him. She knew it was coming. She knew intelligence was coming.
What does that say about society? What does that say about society promoting all of these things that gives you that dopamine feel? That's saying that fries your brain, that will affect you negatively, even though I hate the word negative. That will affect you negatively in the future. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what does that say about society promoting this consistently? Do you see what I'm saying?
Furthermore, what does it say about the leaders of society? They're the ones
promoting it consistently and allowing it. Do you see what I'm saying?
What he's talking about,
they don't care about you,
about the dopamine hit and the dopamine baseline is everything that a drug addict will have to go through and have to realize to combat their drug addiction. Now the problem is to get drugs, you have to go out of your house, you go to a bank, your cash machine, withdraw, go to your thing. This drug is given to us by the government and installed in every single pocket of every single person. What chance do the most of the population have against this drug?
You're supposed to enjoy that dopamine feel of sex or ejaculating and all that. You're supposed to enjoy it in a
achieving something.
You're supposed to enjoy it in a meaningful way. You see what I'm saying? That's
not abuse it.
Exactly. Like when you're in a situation where you're married to a woman that's loyal to you, you're loyal to her, then you're enjoying it in a meaningful way because you can get children out of it and so on and so forth. That's not what's happening. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why we become less creative. That's why we're not becoming fruitful. That men are no longer caring about creating and becoming productive to society, because it's all based on satisfying that pleasure right now. Do you see what I'm saying? Because of how much they are bombarding us with that with this type of information. Do you see what I'm saying? We want that hit now. You know what I mean? It's like a drug. We want that hit now.
Addiction.
Exactly.
And we can get it now.
You can get it because it's your fingertips. You can literally get it
everywhere. Whew. The leaders don't care about you, man.
Nah, not even close.
Do you think we should be able to sue the government? Pull up a lawsuit.
How can you sue the very people that are in charge of you? They'll be like,
to sue them, you have to go into their court.
No, you'd have to get another government that's more powerful than them to come and say, can you sue them, please? Look at what they've done.
It'd have to be like the Scottish government or somewhere.
Of another country.
I don't know.
Somebody needs to get sued, man. Somebody needs to pay.
Well. It goes back to who are they?
Yeah.
We need to go back to that as well.
Because,
jeez.
Don't really work very well because they've been hooked on porn since they were a young teenager, and now they're not being very ambitious.
Wait. So
what does that manifest?
I have a question. So, knowing what we know in the red pill, that women are going for a smaller and smaller percentage of men, what do we do with the problem of sexless men? Because I was thinking about this. I agree with you, but if we got rid of porn tomorrow, what would happen with birth control still on the table? Because with birth control, no fault divorce, we're still going to have, the 20/80 rule. Yeah. So what do you think would happen with the bottom 30-40% of men?
Men would go crazy.
Yeah, you made the point before. It's like the reason it's so like you guys can make so much money is because the supply demand curve, right?
Wanted.
Well, and it's accessible. And
it's extremely accessible.
But what you're talking about is people who are consuming porn that is free, porn that is free.
All porn is free.
But they get to you. They get to you through that funnel.
Yeah,
they end up at your OnlyFans.
But the majority of people aren't spending thousands of thousands is because of that porn is free. The type of people that will have addictions and things that they will continuously watch is because it's free.
I guarantee that every single guy who is paying you $1,000 a month has.
But it's not every guy spending thousands of dollars.
No, I didn't say that. Listen, I said every guy who has spent $1,000 a month with you has also watched a copious amount of porn.
Yeah,
I can guarantee
it's like the evolution, right?
So I've got a subscriber that came to me and he said he might be lying, I don't know, but he said that basically he doesn't watch mainstream porn because he doesn't know if them people have given full consent, so he will not watch mainstream porn.
Nice.
So he's
I trust him.
So he's come to me. So I would say that there is people that wouldn't watch mainstream porn, not like 100% of people.
They've just strayed from the question.
That's the exception. It's not the rule, though. I think all the guys going on Pornhub are like, I want to make sure I do it ethically.
Yeah. No one actually wants to do that. So you were talking about the 80-20. So with contraception. So are you talking about the fact that obviously majority of people are having sex with intent of having a child?
No.
Okay, so I
was talking about how women select for a very small percentage of men, especially in our 20s when we have the most amazing selection.
Basically, the question that she was basically presenting is what would happen since women select for very small, the majority of women today go for the 20% or whatever of men, right?
So what's good for the 80?
If they cancel porn. Sorry. If they cancelled porn today, what would happen to those men? And I think someone said, they would go crazy. That's a big contradiction. If porn is what's frying our brains, giving us that dopamine, instant gratification, do you see what I'm saying? That's bad for us. That's making us less creative, less productive in society. How is it that men today would go crazy?
I think they'll go crazy, but in a different way. They'll go crazy. They'll start hitting the gym. They'll start looking at their career. They'll get more enthusiasm and they'll get more power.
And start solving problems. And start building stuff.
Which would make them more attractive to most women.
Yes.
Even though they've got ridiculous standards today. Do you see what I'm saying? Even though modern women has ridiculous standards today. Do you see what I'm saying? So to me, maybe she made a mistake or maybe she wasn't thinking it through. I don't know. But to me, she didn't just contradict. Like what she's advocating for now, what Pearl's advocating for is basically to almost like for men to continue to watch porn and in a sense,
it's helping them.
In a sense, continue to become losers. You see what I'm saying? So that they can continue to become unattractive to most women. Because if by stopping watching porn has all these benefits for men, because that's exactly what would happen. Mohan hit the nail on the head. Mo hit the nail on the head when he said, you know what? Do you know what? If porn was taken out of the table, what would happen is men will be hitting the gym, they'll be concentrating, they'll be thinking about their future because all that energy would have to go somewhere. And they would go into that. Do you see what I'm saying? So what's this idea that they would go crazy?
I think she's just seeing men as weak. Only for me, only a weak man that can't handle the intensity of and channeling it by going gym and becoming a warrior. Only a weak man that can't handle it will become aggressive and dangerous. And I think most of the time the men are going to become do the right thing and solve problems and channel it.
But most throughout history, most men have been sexless. Most men were not having access to sex like that. They didn't lose their minds.
Exactly.
They didn't become stupidly aggressive. They didn't become crazy as they are mentioning.
Yeah,
Like
she's looking at men as weak,
most men
then.
are in sexless marriages.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's
They
looking
not
at men as
losing it.
weak.
I mean, how often do people really think a married man is out here having sex with taking care of children, with working, with all of that? They're not going crazy.
Yeah.
They're not losing their minds.
Yeah.
And if most men are not getting sex, they're not going crazy. They're not losing their minds either.
Yeah.
So I don't understand her argument.
She's looking at men as weak, basically.
Yeah, and this also goes back to
boys.
Yeah, just not civilized people. It goes back to the society's view on toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
it's like
we can't handle ourselves.
Yeah, a man can't control himself, and he just goes bad.
He just loses his mind.
Yeah, take away porn. Yeah, he's gonna lose his mind. And
so why didn't they lose their mind?
King Kong.
Yeah, gonna break down.
Stop breaking down.
Yeah,
buildings and stuff.
But that would imply that a man is emotional. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we know that men are not, like, we are more logical than women are.
Exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying?
That's why we'll start solving problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to let the right way.
We're
inclined to be more logical than emotional.
So like, she's not making sense. I think what she's trying to say, just to help her case, is we are so addicted to it. Men are so addicted to corn today that it will be almost impossible for them to for you to shut off corn all of a sudden, because then it would have a negative reaction on men. But I don't think it will. I think what men would have to rethink. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you know what? All right, if the only way of me getting this, the only way of me getting and the thing is, this idea that men are just these sexual animals that can't control themselves is absolute rubbish. You literally have priests that spend their whole lives without having. You have monks that have spent their. You have all types of religions and all of that. You've got people that devote their lives to God or have some kind of, and they usually tend to be men. Do you see what I'm saying? You've got nuns as well. You know what I mean? So this idea that a man cannot abstain from sex is absolutely absurd to me. Absolutely absurd to me.
I think
hold on, sorry, just last point. You've got men in societies, in the indigenous people, they literally walk around naked. Yeah, they're not losing their minds, going crazy and trying to have things. So what is she talking about?
It's not marketed to them. So
trying to make men look like some animal. You know what I mean? Like that won't be able to control themselves. No, they would do exactly what Mo said. Yeah, they would think, you know what? In order for me to get this, now I have to work really hard. Okay, and now corn is no longer on the table. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put all my effort in becoming that man.
Yeah, because sex is like the reward.
Yeah,
of the hard work. But I think like she's grown up in an environment when sex was so accessible. Like she doesn't see a world. She can't fathom a world without porn being so easily accessed. We've grown up in a world where it wasn't around. It was very rare. So we understand. But a lot of these young kids, they haven't had that experience.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But the thing is, I think men, they get more of a high or a dopamine feel when they achieve something in life, rather than 20 minutes or 30 minutes of sexual intercourse. Absolutely. I think men get more.
Yeah, she plays sport.
More pleasure out of life when they achieve things. You see what I'm saying? This is why I think this idea that men are these sexual animals that just want blah, blah, blah is absolute nonsense. It's rubbish, because men actually get more satisfaction from creating and being productive. When a man achieves something in life, he's so proud of himself. That in itself is such a high for a man to feel like, I worked hard, I achieved this. You know what I mean? You feel accomplished. You know what I mean? You don't do all of that so you can, in the end, you can have a little 20 minutes and feel, oh yes, I finally got sex. Like, what kind of, like, it's almost you're trying to make women like these creatures that we have to live up to. You see what I'm saying? I worked so hard. I became a doctor. I achieved all of this so that in the end I can have sex with a woman that's not even a virgin. Like, are you serious? Or even if she's a virgin? No, he worked hard. He got his satisfaction from the fact that he managed to achieve something. That's where men get their satisfaction from, their gratification from. Women don't get it from that.
Do you think like there's not enough men hearing that message? I don't think the children today, the youth today, young people today are hearing that message of of delaying the gratification, building themselves up.
No, they're not hearing it at all.
Something.
They're not hearing it at all. That's why she's making the argument that she's making, because they're not hearing it at all.
Yeah.
A young boy today doesn't hear that. He opens, as soon as he opens his eyes, there's some woman trying to show her body to him. You know what I'm saying? As soon as he goes on the phone, some woman trying to show something to her. As soon as he put on the TV, some woman trying to say, it's like I can't even wake up.
My eyes.
It's like that's why she's thinking the way she's thinking. That's why she's saying what she's saying. She's basically saying like, look, society is like this, so therefore men are gonna go crazy if this is taken away from them. And the other, sorry, I don't even want to insult him, but they'll go crazy. No, they won't.
There's a limited point of view. Like they don't understand the world without porn.
Yeah, they don't. As if most married men are out here having sex all the time, in between work, in between taking care of a family, in between all of that. Most men don't even get it like that.
But that's how they sell it, like that. How life should be, like the people in the porn industry or the mainstream celebrities or whoever, they just sexualize porn or sex, and they make you feel that it should be happening all the time, like with as many people as you can. And that's like, no one's telling them, right, this is actually destructive, degenerate behavior.
That's right, yeah.
Like, it's being celebrated.
Let's do it.
100% of women want 20% of men.
Yeah, and
usually
I see that.
They might expand in their 30s when they have less choice, but especially in our 20s, we go for a small percentage.
Yeah, I was talking.
So if we have like 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s going for the top 20,
it's horrible,
going for the top 20%, then what are the bottom 40% of men going to do?
Watch porn? Nothing.
Yeah,
They're gonna watch porn. That's what they do. But
the problem, wait. So the problem is in societies though, is that when you have a large group of sexless men, like a lot of times they get aggressive.
So, Pearl, the only logical solution to the fix, like let's say okay, because the fix to the sexist problem with men is adult content, right?
Yeah.
That's the current fix.
Yeah.
If we take away that fix, right, we also have to take away the cause.
Right.
And the cause is things like Instagram and dating apps, which create that transparency.
I would go a step further. I would ban divorce and birth control.
Yeah, we
Maybe take away repeal the 19th too. Take away the vote.
But who's saying that? Who's saying sexless men is a problem? Where is that?
No, I think it's a problem. It's 100% a problem. Because the thing is, men have...
Well, the problem is in history, usually when there's a large group of sexless men, there was some sort of uprising.
Yeah.
That's like, I've even heard
you're saying a correlation with history.
Yeah. And so I'm saying, right...
She's absolutely wrong. So the uprising... check the argument that she's making. The uprisings had nothing to do with political interests, had nothing to do with kings and queens trying to take over countries in order to achieve more power. It had to do with men being sexless, not getting enough. That's why there was uprisings.
That's even less of a reason to go to war.
Yeah, and also because corn existed back then, didn't it?
Yeah.
So they would have a reference to reference it with.
Yeah.
That is the most stupid thing I've
Stupid.
I've heard.
Whoa.
I'm not getting none, so let me go to war.
Yeah.
Nah, that don't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not getting none, so let me go to war and start uprisings. What uprisings? Well, I want to know historically what uprisings have been done in the name of we are not getting enough sex from women, so therefore we're gonna start an uprising. And guess what? Not even an uprising against the government. Yeah, against their own government. It's an uprising against probably. I don't know if she means against their own government or against another group of people.
Yeah.
So let's go and invade another group of people because we're just not getting enough.
That's even dumber. Because all uprisings in history is usually towards the government or the aristocracy, whoever's the leaders.
Yeah, I'm with her when she says
it's an oppressed group, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm with her when she says cancel abortion, get rid of all social media, get rid of all dating apps. You know what I mean? Stop giving modern women all these like ways of taking advantage of men. You see what I'm saying? Like because we know women, they have a hypergamous nature. Do you see what I'm saying? So, stop giving women that temptation, because that's temptation for women to take advantage of men. Yeah, take away all of that. You know what I mean? Especially like abortion and what do you call it? the pills to make sure they don't get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, women would start thinking twice. You know what I'm saying? Who they're gonna sleep with. You know what I mean? If you take away all of those things, you know what I'm saying? But this idea that she's spewing, like, I'm with her when she says that, but
sexist men, like, that's just crazy.
Men started uprisings because they were sexless.
In her defense, the only thing I can think about is her being a host on this show. She is just asking a question to keep the conversation a bit more spicy.
No, but she made a statement. She said
she's advocating a goal.
Yeah, but she said that historically this took place. Oh, yeah. It's like when you make a statement like that,
based
it's
on
like
her research.
That's you're not trying to keep the conversation going. You're saying that based on my research. I know of uprisings, you know, of men.
I would love for her to quote what uprising she's referring to.
I would love to read that out, bro. Because back then, men didn't have feminism. Men didn't have women with this materialistic hypergamous nature, like highly uncontrollable hypergamous nature. Men didn't have none of that. You see what I'm saying? What men had back then, well, women were a bit more submissive, willing to build with the average man. That's what you had back then. Do you see what I'm saying? Because everyone was kind of like trying to survive, and women would cling to a man for survival purposes, not because of what he can offer her materialistic. She wasn't saying, "Yo, you have to have the latest horse." You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not driving, if you're not riding what the king is riding, I'm not. Women were not saying that. Women were like, "Damn, we're starving." They didn't have.
If you haven't got a horse and car, there's no way
you're done out here.
If you ain't got access to these apples,
that's. They didn't have Tesco's, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have all of that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have Instagram. They didn't have
it's neglect of the community. Like, if there was an uprising, it's neglect of the people. Not because the men ain't getting none. Ain't getting any action.
If anything, men would have got more because every woman was just trying to survive. They would want to cling to every man possible in order for them to survive. You see what I'm saying? Like, so this idea that men were starting uprisings because they were not getting none. I'm like, I would love to, like, please send me something so I can read it.
That's a dangerous talking point.
Complete rubbish.
But I think it's because she's trying to look what the other guy asked. The other guy, he goes, "What we saying was sexless men?" Like, he said something about a sexless men. Are we saying that being sexless is bad or something?
Oh yeah.
What's the problem?
With sexless men? He even alluded to it, and then and that was a good question. That was a good question, and that's why she came out with that. But that was the way she came out with that. That was a bit abrupt. You know what I mean? It's almost like she didn't think it through.
I think she's definitely got something wrong there. She just made it up on the spot.
Yeah, because that was a good question, and it almost threatened. Because it contradicted the entire argument. That question literally contradicted the entire argument. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't want men to watch porn because, and we know we don't want them to watch porn because they're going to be more productive, they're going to be blah blah blah. So that means men being sexless. If men are not watching porn and they are focusing on what they need to focus and it helps them focus, then that means they need to be sexless. You see what I'm saying? So when he asked that question, it contradicted the entire argument that they were making, and now she came up with something on the spot just like that.
I think she's exposing her perception of not being able to see a world without promiscuous behavior.
Without the red pill ideology. The red pill way you're thinking.
She's hung on that. She latches on to that red pill ideology.
That men just need a constant
sex.
Sex. Okay.
Large group of sexless men, there was some sort of uprising. That's like, I've even heard
you're saying a correlation with history. That's
And so I'm saying right now, the reason there isn't that is because we have porn. And I'm saying, if you took away the porn, what would happen to the sexless men? Do you think they would?
I think they would.
Well, I would go off Sterling's answer and say that. I would go off Sterling's answer and say there'd be more productive people. Things would be getting more.
They would be creepy.
No, men have
attacking women.
Men have natural urges. Men and women both have natural urges.
The problem is the society. We still have dating apps. So even if like those men got better, like women would still go for the top 20% of men.
Exactly.
Because we have birth control and dating apps. and no fault divorce. And so women,
there's two different points there. Like, there's the point. The point I was making about like.
All right, let's delve into this this thing. Let's say men are being more productive in society, right? What does productivity equate to? Money, right? Yeah. Money, security, so on. All the things that women are looking for, right? She said, "Oh, because of the dating apps, because of the social media, women will still try and get the 20% men."
Yeah.
Okay. But if men were more focused, wouldn't they become almost part of the 20%? Wouldn't they be earning more? Wouldn't they be? Because I mean, isn't that a product of a man being on his purpose to have monetary value at the end?
It would level out because the woman would have more choice.
More choice.
Yeah,
more to choose from. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because guess what? You wouldn't have the 20% no more, because that 20% would actually increase to 50% because now men are more concentrated on achieving their goals. Do you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? In order to raise a family and so on. Why? Because they don't have the destruction of corn. They don't have the destruction of, women, you know what I mean? Like naked online and all of that type of stuff. They don't have that destruction no more. So it doesn't make sense, because men would be trying to achieve, do you see what I'm saying, their goals more. They wouldn't have no destruction. That's my entire point. You know what I mean? And that equals to monetary value. You know what I mean? Like imagine a man that's on his purpose and he's being fit, he's working hard. What do you think's what do you think the outcome of that will be?
Yeah, more money.
More money.
Like what you said,
20%. So that 20% would be 30%. You know what I mean? And I think it would basically, it would get to the point where the modern women would look at it and say, whoa, I've got a lot to choose from. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there wouldn't be a 20% no more. Do you see what I'm saying? Because men will be more focused. Yeah. So, like you said, it will level it out. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And women will have more to choose from. And I'm not saying that's right either. You know what I mean? Like, a man has to earn some stupid amount of money for her to like him. But I'm sorry, with more men on their purpose, that means they would earn more. And women would eventually have more to choose from. Do you see what I'm saying? Even though their standards are absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Also, I think more men would start speaking with more women. There is a kind of
like
block at the moment
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because they have the confidence now. Because they have the confidence. Because when you work on yourself, when you achieve something, in a sense, you have that inner confidence.
Yeah, value. They see themselves as valuable. Yeah. Like they probably feel like they can deliver on what women want. Yeah, that's what it comes down to ultimately.
But she's assuming that the 20% wouldn't change.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? She's assuming that all those men working hard, not watching corn, that wouldn't change the landscape. It would change the landscape.
Yeah.
Because all those men would be basically, yes, of course, there's always going to be a few men, a percentage of a few men that are not going to be making it or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? But most men would be on that trajectory of becoming, you know what I mean, of becoming...
it's the natural path, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the natural path. If you're on your purpose, that's the natural path. So that means the 20% would become 50%.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? With regards to the uprising, I think like the people that are in charge know that if men stop watching porn, they are going to become more intelligent. They are going to start building more, and they're going to see how things are now as it doesn't make sense, and there will be an uprising. And I think that's what they're afraid of. So
it's being done in purpose. It's all part of the whole killing
the men on porn.
Yeah, it's all part of killing the masculinity.
Yeah. That's part of the agenda,
attacking the masculinity
to stay on top.
Yeah, because you don't want men to become too successful and start having their own businesses and not paying tax from their job.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There's that too.
So the ones in power don't want to give up power, so they're going to advocate the men continuing needing corn in society.
Yeah. I don't see how her argument of women going for the 20%. Do you see what I'm saying? Even though men have stopped watching corn, I don't see how that makes sense, because you wouldn't have a 20% if all men stop watching corn.
And plus,
because they'll be on their purpose.
Yeah, and plus, I think if men wants to stop watching corn, they would have that magnetism to desire to want to speak to women.
That drive.
The drive to speak to women.
Drive, because they've got value now.
Yeah.
They've got value now. They can present themselves in a confident way. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sorry, but most women would have a lot to pick from. Do you see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it would be whether those men even wanted them or not. But there wouldn't be a shortage of women. There wouldn't be a shortage of women, and they would have the pick of the litter. Like, seriously. Yeah. But you know what I mean? You don't become a high value man so that a woman will pick you. You pick the woman you want. That's the purpose.
Get the one you want.
That's the purpose of it. Because you have that confidence. So it is important for you to become that man. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you can pick, you can dictate terms, you can say what is and what isn't. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the whole idea behind it. You becoming something. So how is it that stopping men from watching porn, you know what I mean, is not going to help men become more high value, so to speak? Do you see what I'm saying? Or, you know, I mean, come on, like,
crazy.
You wouldn't have a 20%. You'd have a 50%, 60%. That's what you would have.
Habitual porn use leads to a reduced drive in men. That's one point. The point Pearl's trying to make here right now is like, okay, well, if you took away porn, now there's a bunch of dudes who don't have an option, don't have any dating options whatsoever. And if they are frustrated, then they will burn the society down.
Yeah, but what would you rather?
And you're right that it may not happen, but again, if we look at history, there are trends.
But if no porn is a net gain on society, wouldn't you rather that than what?
I'll tell you.
You need the balance. You need the balance. So you need to take the female side as well.
But that's why I would argue we got to ban birth control, no fault divorce, and maybe take away the vote too. Yeah. But I don't know if society's going to get behind that.
That's a lot on the ticket.
Repeal the 19th.
You're American. You can vote. You can go for president.
That's basically it. But yeah, you see, that guy was absolutely right. That guy was absolutely. It doesn't make sense if you ban corn, and that's a net gain. Like, how is it that?
How are they going to burn down society?
How are they going to burn down society? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's a net gain. So that means men will become more productive for society, and they'll become productive themselves. So how is a net gain not productive for society? It's like they're contradicting themselves. And this idea that they will burn society down. I think he was just catering for Pearl there, because I think he saw the contradiction himself, but he was just basically
being nice.
He's being nice. He's trying to help her out. But he used the men will burn society down. Really?
Well, that contradicts his original idea of the dopamine baseline levels.
Yeah, so he's contradicting himself.
Contradicted himself completely, man.
No, what will happen is men will level up society. That's what would happen. Yeah, they'll improve society.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be in control of choosing the right woman, which actually would get women to behave, because a woman can only behave like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they think they've got the leverage and they think they can get those 20% of men. Now, if you've got a lot of men to choose from, you know what I mean, if you've got all these men, like if let's say 60% of men are productive. Do you see what I'm saying? Now the leverage is with the men. They have to pick, and now the women have to change. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because they have the leverage.
And they're all having a positive impact on society.
Exactly.
Lots of game.
Yeah, they would look at a woman like, sorry, you high body count, don't want you. I would go for the other one. And they can say that because they have the value to say that. Do you see what I'm saying? I've achieved something. I haven't been watching corn. I've been focusing on myself. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. Do you see what I'm saying? So I've built myself up, and now I can tell you what the terms are. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't have to choose you no more, because what's happening to these 80% of men? They are settling for the scraps of the 20%. That's what's happening to the 20%. And the reason why it's not working is because when those women realize that 20% of men don't want them, they try to settle for the 80%. And guess what? The 80%, guess what? They're not attracted to the 80%. Why? Because they're so used to a certain materialistic lifestyle, a certain way of looking at themselves, and so on and so forth.
And that's where manipulation comes in.
And divorce goes up. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because now they try to settle with the other guy, but he doesn't earn enough. He doesn't have what and whatnot.
Kobe, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so like, see these men that if they was to stop watching porn and they were to focus and channel their energy into building society and fixing problems, do you think these kind of men will be so easily influenced by women's sexuality?
No.
Would you think they'll be so easily seduced by women. These kind of men.
No.
They'll be more focused.
Yeah, they'll be harder to be seduced.
Yeah.
And the women would have to make a bigger effort to get their attention.
And the leverage of the dynamics of the relationship was going back to the guys, man.
Yeah,
it's only a positive impact on society.
Look at the 20% now.
Yeah.
It's the men who have the leverage.
Yeah.
It's basically what you just said.
Yeah.
It's the men who have the leverage.
Yeah,
They're the ones who pick. They're the ones who... and they're not going to pick some woman with a high body count for a wife. You just say they're not going to do it. Because they've got the leverage. They have the say-so.
Yeah.
So she's absolutely wrong on that, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, tell you, good spot. Good thing, good thing you brought that in, and we could solve this problem.
Yeah,
you broke it down, boy.
Yeah,
there you go, guys, man.
All right, another one. All right, until next time.
Until next time, guys. Salute, Patriots.
Nice.